Alright, what's up guys? This is Mosen here with MTA, episode 50, yeah? So, small anniversary today on the 12th of February 2019. And the topics are tanking weapons and Valentine's Day. And, you know, just a little update is every day, right? So, episode 50, a little anniversary of the MTA series. Very glad you guys enjoy it, and thanks for all the whispers I'm getting in-game. I want to get that out first. You know, thank you for all the nice and kind words, you know, to keep up the content. Appreciate that very much. I have so much on the plate. I want to make so much content, and I know, you know, I need to get more out. But sometimes it's just hard to get everything sorted in time and out there in time. So bear with me. Prot Paladin guide I can make pretty soon, I think. I got all the information I need. I'm still struggling to find out a little bit more about the spell damage coefficients and like how that actually affects rate, or if you even need it and all that. So that's gonna be the first one. I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, that is it's a small anniversary here, and stay tuned for more. Like we can aim for the 100 for sure. Right, we have enough to talk about, that's for sure. And yeah, so small update, we did MC and we got the full tier 1, alright. So here it is, Banana Dwarf. There it is with the 8 set bonus, gives Paladin a chance in every hit to heal your party for around 200. Tested this out, this is pretty good. You can actually, whenever you're not tanking, you just want to melee and proc this Circle of Healing together with Judgment of Light and together with a Nightfall. We're still working on the Nightfall. Turned out we need to push somebody else, but you know, full tier 1 is here. And we got the Aura Stone Hammer. And that leads us into the first topic of the day, which is tanking weapons and slow versus fast. So, Prot Paladin, you know, it's been working out great so far, but I've been thinking about some tanking weapons. And we're still trying to get the Iron Foe to test the how crazy it really is. That should be the go-to weapon for Prot Paladin to tank with. And I was thinking about you know, the weapon speed a little bit, because generally speaking, as a warrior, for example, I need some coffee here. Hold on. As a warrior, for example, you technically want a quick tanking weapon, right? And the reason for that is the quicker weapon, you get quicker chunks of rage, right? In a slower weapon, you have to wait for the swing and then you get rage. And with a quick weapon, you do actually get small amounts of rage quicker, and your abilities for tanking don't really cost all that much, so you want those small chunks quickly. Also, you know, quicker attacks, more threat faster, and your heroic strike spam in between auto attacks when you have enough rage will be quicker. There will be more heroic strikes coming in because it replaces the next auto attack with heroic strike. So you want to have cheaper heroic strikes for you know, for the next attack, and more of them, because heroic strike causes more threat. You want to replace the white hits. Now, that being said, as a Prot Pally, I first thought, okay, it must be the same thing. Quick weapon, you get more Seal of Righteousness attacks out, but it turns out that, of course, with the working talents of improved Seal of Righteousness and one-handed weapon specialization, this, you know, you actually have bigger Seal of Righteousness damage on every auto attack, and that means with a slower one, these are really, really high. And it turned out these Seal of Righteousness holy damage attacks go up to 130, I think it was, in the raid, per auto attack with the Aura Stone Hammer. And to be honest, when I'm tanking stuff, my auto attacks, that they are quick, is not very much important. The only thing, because a slow weapon has a bigger chance to proc, like let's say a mana seal, a mana judgment, or a light judgment, so it doesn't really matter if it's slow, you proc it more often. than with a quick one. Sure, you get quicker strikes in, but you don't have a resource that you need to regenerate from every melee. So the speed really doesn't matter all that much for a prot paladin. In fact, when you start tanking something, you have the first hit, and that wants to be, you want to have the first hit be pretty high, and the holy damage of the initial hit be as high as possible. So because once you have the aggro, you're not really losing it, but the problem is the start, because you don't have a taunt to compensate in case somebody over nukes. So the first hit wants to be a fat hit with a fat holy damage output, which you have with a slow weapon. So I came to the conclusion that really it doesn't really matter what speed it is, but the good thing is a slow weapon also works. So we went away from the Kelsara, because the Kelsara only really gives, the proc is nice and all, don't get me wrong, but the thing is 12 stamina is 12 stamina, and relying on a proc, the proc is 13 defense, which equals about 0.5 avoid times 5, so 2.5% avoid altogether. But all in a general sense, that's not really the problem that we're facing here, right? You want to boost threat where you can, and a weapon is a good item slot to do this. So I taken, as I said, the proc is okay, right? But a little bit of armor really isn't factoring in too much, and the little bit of defense, whenever you never know when you're gonna get the proc. When you need it, sometimes you don't get it, and when you don't need it, you whatever, you can't really control it. So I switched to a more sustainable weapon, and or sustaining weapon, that would be this one, the Aura Stone Hammer. It's nice and slow, so you have fat Zero Righteousness damage coming in, and in case you miss that attack, you can just always judge and get the next one up. On top of that, you also have 10 stamina, just like on Kelsara, right? So you have 10 int, increase your mana pool, which is also very good. It's around, with the talent, it's around 165 mana or something. And you have 25 spell damage and healing, which you can use for your healing set, and you can also use it for your tanking set, which is just nice to have more threat. And on top of that, 5 MP5. And 5 MP5 is something that you shouldn't overlook too much as a prot. Now you might remember at the beginning I had this weapon that restores 50 mana from Maraudon, that restores 50 mana on hit from Maraudon. I'm actually at a point where I don't need that anymore, so this is not my tanking gear, this is just my full tier 1. For Nefarian, for example, I use full tier 1 to tank the doors, right? Because I can use this for phase 2, where I'm gonna be healing and keep up Judgment of Light and heal the group. But I'm tanky enough to tank these ads, right? They usually die easy. So you can use this set. As I said, you need a lot of different sets for different situations as a prot pally, but it also makes it fun. So in the tanking set, of course I put 30 spell damage on this, and what we found out right now, on Northdale, 30 spell damage enchant also increases your healing by 30. Keep that in mind, it's a pro tip right here. So it's just awesome, so I got 30 healing enchant on this one as well. I don't know if that should be, I don't think it should be, but yeah, that's how it works at the moment. This is off as of right now, and so, right now I'm at a point where we're actually regenerating a lot of mana per 5, so in the 2-second ticks, that even if we're completely drained on mana, we don't have to wait for long. Like one Judgment of Light, Judgment of Wisdom proc from an auto attack, and the MP5 we've gathered so far is already enough to come back and be sustained, to sustain your mana. So we're getting there slowly, right? But it's pretty good. Like those 5 MP5 is something nice to have. You have int stamina, spell damage, and the MP5 and a fat damage. So that's the update right here. And talking about the slow and quick tanking weapons, of course you can also go for a quick one. It depends on, I think it really depends on the weapon you're using. Iron Foe should still be the best because again, your Seal of Righteousness damage counts as another attack, so you also double the proc chance of the Iron Foe itself, which then on every proc, every extra attack it procs restores mana to you or and causes threat. So we're still after that one, right? We got the Head of Lash Layer for the spell sword at the end, but it's a long way until we get that sword. So yeah, might still take some time. Speaking of tanking weapons though, for warriors, right? Warriors want, there's a couple of alternatives you have. I've been asked a couple of times now from fresh prot warriors which weapons they should get. And so generally speaking, the go-to choice, if you have a little bit of money, would be the Scarlet Kris. Okay, the Scarlet Kris is a blue dagger, and it has a speed of 1.5, and it has 10 stamina and 10 agility on it. Now, as a warrior, you want to, as I said, a quick weapon, and the dagger is the way to go, especially if you're not a human. If you're a human, you might want to aim for a sword, because of the hit rating you get and the reduced glancing blows. But you know, generally speaking, the Scarlet Kris is also a very good choice for warrior, because you have the 10 stamina and 10 agility, which is crit, dodge, and armor. Always a good tanking stat. So that's one of the best choices. You can safely put 15 agility on your Scarlet Kris and tank for days. You have quick heroic strikes, etc. Another good alternative though is, and Die in Smoke actually, Illyrod pointed that one out. If I would find it now, the world drops. Hold on. Jeez, man. World epics. Right. Of course, well, the Alco Sunraiser, we don't need to talk about that, but it's so rare. If you can get it, it's really good. 10 fire resistance as well. 1.3 dagger is just so much quick attack, so many quick attacks. Very good for warrior. But again, if you're human, you know, a sword comes in real handy as well. So we got the World Epics level range 40 to 49, I think it was. And you have the Shadow Blade here. And now the Shadow Blade, right, has a proc chance to cast a Shadow Bolt. 110 to 140 damage. This is always extra threat, and it gets increased by raid debuffs, like such as Shadow Priest, etc. And of course also the, I think the Warlock one, but yeah. And Nightfall. So it's not nothing. 110 and 140 extra damage is a lot of extra threat. Now there's a possibility that Life-Stealing Enchant might proc this even more, because it's the same school of spells, but I'm really not sure about that. Cannot confirm this, please. But the speed itself, right? It's a good starting weapon if you can get your hands on it. 1.4 speed, and you can already wear it at level 48. So this is also a good alternative for a warrior tanking weapon at the start. Same for Gut Ripper, really, but you know, there's also a good proc on it, but it's a little bit slower. So you want to aim for something like 1.5-ish. And then once you're making good progress in Molten Core, right, already the second boss has the Eskandar's Right Claw, and that's a pretty good one as well, because it is a 1.5 weapon. It has 4 agility on it, right, so quick and nice, some agility, good stat, and a chance on hit to give you attack speed. And of course attack speed means more rage, and it means well, more threat, obviously, and you can spam more abilities. So, Scarlet Kris or this one, I'd say, I don't know which one is technically better. I have to ask Brodolf how many times this one actually procs for him, but it's for 5 seconds, so it's not nothing. You can get a lot of things in, a lot of attacks in there. Keep in mind though that 30% from 1.5 weapon speed is not a whole bunch, but it certainly already puts it down to a second, I think. Isn't it a second? 0.15 times 3 would be 0.45. So yeah, you're like at 1 second attack speed. Yeah, so there you go. Those are really good tanking weapons in case you're a prot warrior and you're watching the content, I don't know. Most of the stuff prot pally can't really use. People have been asking for Prot Paladin again, about Hand of Edward the Odd, and the thing is, just for tanking, I don't think it's really good, because you don't know when you're getting the proc and what you're gonna do with it. You could Flash of Light yourself. It's a possibility for sure, but you're gonna drain your mana so much, and you don't have much mana as it is, and you need all that mana to keep the threat up and do that. And you know, healing is somebody else's job. And you don't know when you're gonna get the proc, right? And you can save the Flash of Light a little bit, but technically you have healers on you and survivability isn't the huge issue, right? It's having mana and threat. So yeah, that's my idea on that one. And for any time you're not tanking, the possibility is that you use Hand of Edward the Odd to melee the boss with Judgment of Light on and the healing circle from the 8 set tier 1 bonus. And then you can, if you want to be a heal support, right, you can do that and use Hand of Edward the Odd, and anytime you get a Flash of Light proc, you use it on somebody on the raid. Instant Holy Light or instant Flash of Light. That's also good. But that's only if you can't really get your hands on a Nightfall, because the Nightfall uptime is just so good and you have so many healing circle. What's this guy doing? The healing circle proc is just so good, right? What's this guy doing? Anyway, that's the tanking weapons. And today, you know, you've seen it here, this guy annoying us with his sound. The Valentines event. So, also Dying Smoke, I never really did all this kind of, you know, this crap here. So, he told me about what you can actually do with it, right? And it's actually really good stuff that you can get there. So my recommendation, you know, while this stuff is hot, right, do all you can and gather it and save that stuff. You can get some fat rewards, okay? So what you do, you go to an innkeeper and you buy perfume, right? Perfume and cologne. I'm just gonna do this with you for now and show you what I mean. So we'll pop in the perfume, right? And then you can also buy the cologne. So you get the cologne and the perfume up, and then I need love tokens. I still got some love tokens here, okay? For practice, for showing you, this should be enough. So you pop that, so you have the buff, you smell divine and great, right? And then you can talk to guards, and anything that has these hearts above their heads, you can talk to, right? Guards and vendors, and then you get the love token here. And now you got the adored thing, right? Which is a debuff, and you can't do it again. So the first, every 1 hour you get one big package. That's the adored package, pretty much. So you open this up, and what you get is a couple of things, silly items you can do a lot of shit with. Like now I got these rose petals, I think. So now I can do this, and then there should be something. Anyway, I can do. Yeah, there should be. Oh yeah, there's roses now falling onto him. Right, silly, but there can also be boxes of chocolate in those, and I got one here because I've been doing this for a little bit of time, and you get a wrapping paper, so you can, I guess, wrap this as gifts. This makes me wonder if I could sell this. We shall try this out. Okay, so I'm putting one. Look, the point is, right, you can get buttermilk delight, right, and you can get the berry cream. And for example, this is a consumable that increases my defense for 1 hour by 13. Or I got the 23 spell damage consumable, and there's a 44 healing and a 2% melee hit, or 2% physical hit rating in there. I don't know if the hit rating works for spells, but I don't think it does, because every school basically, or every role, has its own consumable. So you can also sell the guards cards. I'll get into that in a second. So these are huge consumables, and you get those by basically doing these adored thing every hour. They can have a 90% chance to drop off these adored things. Now, another cool thing though is you can get buffs, and these buffs are basically an equivalent to raid buffs. Yeah. So right now I did the stuff here in Darnassus, and every town gives you a different buff. So Darnassus gives you 30 agility, Ironforge gives you 30 stamina. I think Thunderbluff gives you stamina. Orgrimmar gives you agility, and Stormwood and Undercity give you 30 intellect. And you get that by completing like a basic run. So you go to these gods, And when you need love tokens to do one interaction. So go to the inn, and then you get the love tokens, yeah. And with those love tokens, you can go to these dudes here. And then here, I'd like to give you this token of my love, and they will give you something. And civilians will give you pledge of loyalties, right? As well as guards, I think. And they will also give you, I don't know, like a specific faction thing, like homebred or I don't know what Ironforge was. Something like an specific to Darnassus. I think Darnassus dudes give you horns or horn work or some shit, and the others give you bread. And you open this up and see like handmade horn, right? So I don't want these rose petals anymore. Anyway, so the handmade handmade woodcraft. It's woodcraft, not horns. I don't know. And you have to gather 5 of these. Then you have to gather 5 guard cards, which you get by talking to guards, obviously, and 5 pledge of loyalty to Darnassus. So you talk to these guys here. All right, here, my love, blah blah, and you open the gift of friendship package, right? And then boom, you got another. What did we get? Another woodcraft. So it's always 3 items. Okay, the woodcraft or bread or whatever town you're in. Then you have the Sentinels card or the Guards cards, right? You need 5 of those. And then you have the Pledge of Loyalty, 5 of those. You have 5 of each. You will combine them into a gift collection. Stormwind, Ironforge, Darnassus. But careful, once you got 5 of each and you use it, that's when you receive the buff. So you want to get 5 of each, technically speaking, from each town before a raid, right? And then basically when you're pulling, you want to combine all of these 3. Then you get 30 agility, 30 stamina, and 30 int buff for 1 hour. And you have these gift collections, right? And then you usually also have some sort of box of chocolates, and then I could, for example, me as a tank, I want all 3 of those buffs, and I could pop a 30 defense and 23 spell damage for me as a prot pally. And that's pretty awesome, right? 30 stamina, and then you pop a Zanza from the ZG vendor, and you all of a sudden with Kings, a ZG buff and Kings, you have like something around 100 stamina, which is, you know, it's a 1k life. So that's pretty impressive. So I want to let you guys know about these buffs. It's actually worth doing it. And the cool thing is, if you have, you know, some people are just freaking lazy. So if you have the guards cards, right, the sent from talking to the guards, you can sell them on the auction house. They go for around 28 silver per. So people just buy 5 of them to get the buff. So it's easy gold right there. You can, if you're really bored and you're just talking like me right now, you can just walk around the town, get 3 of those, and when you combine all of these gift collections, then in the end you can get a pet. You know, that stupid goblin that's flying around with you, and there you go. And in those adored, so there's 2 things, right? You want to get the buffs from combining all the city-specific stuff. Careful, once you combine them, you will have the buff. Then you have the cool consumables from the box of chocolates. Every hour you can try and get the box of chocolates, so you can stack them all up, maybe for an Extramus or AQ40, whatever. And then you have the gift collections, which you can then combine and turn in. And so there's a lot of stuff to be done, and a lot of cool consumables. And in the worst case, you can sell your guards cards. And now one thing I wanted to try, right? We said I wanted to try the... Okay, we gotta... Hold on. Okay, so here's the pet, right? True silver shafted arrow. We just got the pet to summon the stupid goblin. And if somebody's heartbroken when you spam this stuff, you might get heartbroken. Then you have to look for somebody with this unbestowed friendship bracelet, and then he can clean you and you can keep going. Where's my other box? Box of chocolates. Alright, so I'm gonna take these out. Okay. The defense ones. I'm gonna throw this love token away real quick. And we have a wrapping paper. So I'm gonna wrap this. because it's all soulbound, right? If you could sell these, that would be amazing, but I'm gonna... soulbound items can't be wrapped. Why do we have paper? Okay, because it's a box of chocolates. Sad. I thought that would be a... Probably because you can make gifts for the non-soulbound items, I guess. But yeah. You can probably also sell the handmade woodcraft, but usually they're not very worth anything. So what you can also do is you can sell the Pledge of Loyalties. Those are sometimes hard to get. In the worst case, you're making good money and get consumables. So do this Valentine stuff. It's actually worth. I'm gonna make a quick guide on this right after this and upload that as well. For now, I thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna turn on the stream at 18:30. We want to try and kill Neff, making good progress. Killed Chromagos third try, and now we're in front of Nefarian, and then we're close to AQ40 again. I wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who's subscribing on the Twitch. It's amazing. Thank you very much for that. We're already, I think we reached the sub goal on the 8th of February already. So thank you very much for that, guys. I appreciate the support. And that was MTA episode 50. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you in 51. Let's go for 100. Feel free to sub. Feel free to check out the stream. I'll see you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.